To our top focus right now, a big debate. In fact, it's not really a debate. It's a huge concern that's emerging. A recent case that has left us seriously worried. 21-year-old Shrishti Shinde was bitten by a dog on February 3rd in Kolhapur. Attacks by stray dogs are a big concern, but we will get to that later. Shrishti was immediately rushed to hospital by the locals, where she was treated. The 21-year-old was also administered her first dose of anti-rabies vaccination, which is a standard operating procedure when a dog bites. And the civil surgeon has said that she took all doses without any lapses. But on March 2nd, Shrishti developed fever and felt weak. She was admitted to a private hospital, but her condition worsened, and reports showed she was infected with rabies. This despite Shrishti completing her anti-rabies vaccination course. Unfortunately, in the early morning hours of March 5th, Shrishti lost her life. In fact, this happened, as I mentioned, almost a week ago. But we are bringing this story to you this late because it took time for us to get through to the civil surgeon, to get the exact things on record, what happened, the sequence of events, whether all the doses were taken, whether there was any time lapses. All of that for now has been negated by the doctor who treated her. Rabies is the plague we are talking about, viewers. Reports say, and why am I using that word? Very cautiously though. Reports say 36% of global deaths due to rabies take place in India. Between 2012 and 2022, India reported over 6,500 cases of rabies, and many of them led to deaths. Just in 2022, 307 people lost their lives due to rabies in India, not essentially only through dog bites. But there's a caveat, and we'll come to that. Now, you must be wondering, why is there always so much emphasis on stray dogs? Well, this is because 96% of rabies cases are caused by dog bites. This is not what we are saying. This is what reports have established, studies have established. And India, with a reported population of 6 crore stray dogs, reported as many as 25 lakh dog bite cases in 2023. There's always a degree of concern around this. All right, I'm being joined right now by Aditya Pratap, who's an advocate, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, who's an infectious disease expert, and we'll also be joined by Kamna Pandey, an animal rights activist, shortly. Thank you for joining us so much. But first, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, let me come across to you. What are we really looking at here? The antivirus jabs were taken. They were taken timely. The doctor has established, and we have confirmed it, that none of the doses were missed. Even the 0 dose that had to be taken, the first dose was taken at the right time. What has actually happened here? Is this a concern?
This is a really very concerned matter, and thanks for having me on the show. Firstly, we need to look at the quality of vaccine, because if you remember, there has been a guideline or a direction from the Supreme Court almost 2 years before. That means the direction will not come without any kind of provocation. There has been another death earlier also. So when you look at the kind of bulk buying in government, they look at L1, L2, L3, means the lowest cost, 1, 2, 3, rather than looking at quality 1, quality 2, quality 3. That is number 1. Number 2, whether the supply chain management and the cold chain was maintained or not maintained, particularly in rural areas where Kolhapur is not a rural place, it's a semi-urban place. But electricity is a problem sometimes. And electricity goes away, the vaccine will become almost ineffective. Thirdly, we need to look at who are the vaccine manufacturers and which was this vaccine, from where it was sourced. If it was sourced from a particular, you know the batch number, expiry date, how it was maintained, then we go to the source. So when there are some kind of duplication in medicine or vaccine, I think this is a criminal act. And here there is no other option, because somebody had a bite, gone to hospital, and 99.9% people go to government hospital for all anti-rabies vaccine, because it is not easily available in private setup. So they go to government in rural areas, PHCs, district places, etc. If that vaccine is duplicate, if the vaccine is not of standard quality, if the supply chain management has not been proper, if the cold chain is not properly maintained, then you have it. There is no other go. There is no other way of testing. And nobody runs a lab to test whether the vaccine is genuine or not genuine.
Dr. Ishwar Gilada, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, and I know Aditya Pratap as well as Kamna Pandey are waiting for us, but allow me to just go to him once because this is also a medical concern that we are looking at. Dr. Ishwar Gilada, one more question to you. How rare is this? Because I'm asking you this, there is no cure as such other than these jabs that are available, this vaccination that is available, the serum that is available, there is no other cure. So if you are bitten, by any mode or medium that could cause this rabies, it doesn't have to be only strays. But the reports show that majority of the bites that have led to rabies in India are because of strays. That apart, how rare is it? How much do viewers need to be concerned about this? Because frankly, you can't go to hospital asking them when was the manufacturing date, where was the cold storage, how is the conditions. If this is criminal negligence, it is. But how should viewers be looking at this?
See, basically, this is a 100% vaccine preventable disease. And if it is not prevented, it is 100%
Okay,
fatal disease.
that's important to be established.
So when we are talking about rabies, we may see 99.09% something like that, but it's 100% fatal. So once there's a 100% fatal disease, you may not find a proper treatment. No doctor, no nurse, no ward boys would like to risk themselves. So we leave the patient to die. In that situation, the vaccine prevention is very important. What has happened during the lockdown, there has been a collateral damage. In collateral damage, we focus only on COVID. We became COVID manic, COVID centric, and we neglected a lot of immunization. You can take also immunization of expanded program of immunization for children. They were also neglected for a year and a half or 2 years. So similarly, there was a very good document which came out from Government of India, but that was on 24th of February 2020. Thereafter, there was the immediate lockdown. So even that document is not properly implemented. So there has been a very good policy. Our country is a vast country. We are 16% of the population of the world. So we'll have 16%, 20%, 25% problem of the world. So in that situation, we need to focus. On one hand, we say we are a developing country. We want to be part of the G7. On the other hand, people are dying of dog bite. That is not acceptable. So we need to look at how to manage dogs.
Right. No, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, thank you so much. You've definitely put all of this in a very important perspective, and it's also very important for viewers to understand this medically. We do not want to raise alarm bells unnecessarily. So it was very important to have you on board. Thank you for staying. Please do stay with us because I'm sure Aditya or Kamna may also add some things that may require clarifications. Aditya, with what has happened, what has unfolded, how are you looking at this?
This is so unfortunate. It is a real tragedy. My heart goes out to the family of Srushti and how she died from a disease that was totally preventable. Now, it totally defies, Dr. Gilada gave a very, very well-researched opinion. And in my opinion, if I have to see this from a legal angle, first and foremost, today, my message to all the people who are proponents of the stray dogs, etc., I make it very blunt. Today, when a stray dog is roaming around in the territory of the corporation, which is as I said, in tort law, we have the doctrine of strict liability. We have doctrine of absolute liability. We have the animal birth control rules, the new ones which have been notified in 2023, that extensive measures are to be taken for vaccination, etc. I straight away say the parents of Srushti should first sue the corporation. Because many a time these corporates, the local municipal councils, Nagpur Municipal Corporation, any municipal corporation, they don't have to pay out of their pocket when a person suffers. So first and foremost, the point is simple. If you are not implementing the animal birth control rules correctly, then you bear the financial consequences for any stray dog biting. Second, I strongly believe that more stringent action has to be taken. Let me be very blunt with what I'm suggesting. Why are stray dogs so violent? Because the natural food chain has been disrupted. If they had been in the wild areas, in the natural ecosystem, they would have been preyed upon and they would have had a prey base. Today, they are falling upon human beings. Urban environment is not a place for stray dogs to be. Moreover, regarding the issue of the vaccine, indeed, this is not the, even in 2022 also, cases came up regarding, in 2022 also people had died after being administered the rabies vaccine. Now we have the pharmaceutical guidelines, we have the Drug Control of India, and most importantly, because
all right. No, we'll
yeah,
come to that. We'll come to that. Let me just get Kamna Pandey to make her introductory remarks as well. Kamna, you heard Aditya. I mean, he may come across very strongly, but these are also emotions that come across, when you talk to many people across the public. I understand that no one has absolute right over the planet. There has to be shared hegemony. But having said that, Kamna, huge questions and huge lapses when it comes to ABC. State after state after state after state. Now, the court recently came up and spoke about how feeding practices have made dogs more territorial, and all of us understand strays becoming territorial. What would that mean? Not just strays, actually, any form of animals for that matter, including dogs that are also pets. Territorial behaviors are very different. But what Aditya is asking, how does one really look at this? Because even just last week, we saw visuals of a girl who was just going from her house to a shop, a young girl, and she was mauled, dragged by a pack of dogs.
Okay. Sneha, the problem is existing and we cannot deny it. We can't wish it away. But how we have to look at it, it has to be a scientific way we look at it. It can't be emotional one way or the other, from this side or that side. It has to be scientific. It has to be solution driven. And it has to be, we have to identify the problem, not imagine the problem. We have to identify and then find a solution. Has it been done in other countries? Has it been done in cities? Has it been achieved? A solution has been achieved? Yes, it has been achieved. So let us look at the problem. For a brief bit, I'd just like to first contradict what Aditya ji said about the prey base and being in the wild. No, the urban dogs, the community dogs, the street dogs are not, they never evolved in the jungles. They always evolved in community. Humans were never their prey base. They will never be their prey base. They go for smaller rats, and they're scavengers basically, not hunters. So that is out of question. The courts have very, very categorically recognized that feeding removes the problem, not adds to it. If we look at the judgment by the Bombay High Court, they've said that we used to have street dog problem, community dog problem in the High Court premises itself. And once we started feeding them, they were just lazing around. So sorry if we are talking about food, providing food, we don't have to throw them in the jungles. We
even
just
the
have
court
to
just
encourage
last
feeders.
week, Kamna.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. But even the court last week spoke about the feeding habits, about how people need to relook the manner in which they are feeding dogs that are leading to them becoming more territorial. And while you're talking about,
there have been guidelines that have been issued, and the feeders forever we have been
that's
asking
exactly
the
my
feeders to please
point,
follow the
Kamna. Where
guidelines
does
that
this
have been
really
issued.
stop? Because ABC is a guideline. It's not being implemented. State after state after states, they are failing. ABC has been in place for decades, for that matter, in some states, at least for years, I know it. Some may have just taken it, adopted it for now. So ABCs have failed. Feeding guidelines have failed. What is happening? We are having reports after reports after reports of young children, everybody getting bitten. So what Aditya is saying, how would you respond to this in the light of what's really happened?
Neha, just allow
maybe a
me
minute
to complete
before I have to move on,
build the point. Just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. It's an important issue. See, one,
okay, that would
it
be
is
the last 2
definitely
minutes
a
I can give you, Kamna.
It is definitely the government's responsibility. From 2011, we have not been able to implement ABC. In a small country like Bhutan, they have been able to achieve 100% sterilization of the dogs. We, with all the infrastructure and all the resources in place, we have not been able to achieve. I can't see any reason other than lack of will. And also that any incident that happens, we go hammer and tongs against the dogs and against the feeders rather than going after the government. The buck stops with the government. The answerability is with the government. The municipal corporations need to
Okay.
put the systems in
Okay,
place.
Kamna,
Now,
last 30
just one
seconds, let
second.
me get Aditya in. Aditya,
Yes. Well,
quick counter,
two
please.
points.
How do you respond that the buck is with the doctor? 30 seconds.
Well, my first point, Shusti's case will clearly reveal that there will be some lapse in the voluminous compliance of the animal birth control regulations of 2023. Local authority can be held liable. Number two, regarding the medical aspect, we need a very thorough medical inquiry because somehow 2022 also people died due to rabies vaccine being non-effective. We need a very strict central level commission to do an autopsy and do a full-fledged analysis.
Okay.
And third,
All
my
right.
solution for the stray dog problem
Okay.
is that in case the population of stray dogs in any area becomes excessive, the only logical step is to relocate
Aditya, we're
them to
out
the
of
core
time.
areas of national parks.
What are you talking?
That's going to be, that I'm
It's
sure
beyond
needed a
logic. It
rebuttal
is
from
beyond
Kamna, but we are totally out of
anything. That's
time.
not
That's
how
also an
it has
extreme
worked anywhere in the whole world.
step. But
It's not
we really
worked.
need to get to a place where this does find solutions that are workable, that are practical, and very importantly, we do not have instances like what we are witnessing today. Thank you very much, Aditya, as well as Kamna, for joining us. It's time.